Hello everyone, this is April, the colorist behind Dreamy Color Fix. Today I bring you the first episode for Fashion Circus. I have done other books by Karla Magana, but this is the first one from her 2019 Fashion Circus. I did a flip through for this. If you're interested in that flip through, I will link the card on the top right. But for now, let's start. This will be a color and chat. I'm going to do this in two parts because the editing, it just takes it's too hard for my computer to handle the whole coloring process and edit. So it's going to be a color and chat. I'm not going to do much editing. It'll be part 1 and then part 2. So I went to the market today, and that's how I got inspired to do this piece, because it was really crazy and weird at Walmart today. Now they have oh, and by the way, I'm using my Illo markers for this part. So in this part will be just markers. Part 1 is markers, part 2 will be the coloring pencil process. So I went to Walmart today, and they now have like plastic barriers between the cashiers and the customers. And then I also went to McDonald's and through the drive-through, and they have a barrier also in their window. Like they have just like a little slot where they would give you the card machine. So everything's so different and strange and going to Walmart, which is why I got a lot of groceries and $150 of groceries. I don't have to go for a while now. This is Pale Pink number 9. So I don't have to go for a while. There was another, okay, so they have glass barriers, or not glass, plastic barriers between the cashiers and, drive-through people. And I would say not everyone's wearing masks, but a lot of them are. Oh, and I'm using cardstock behind this. I haven't even I have looked through this book, but this is the first. I'm not really a clown fan, but I do like some aspects of this book. I don't even know yet what color scheme I'm going to go with, but I'm going to start with pink. And then I think maybe like some darker color in the background. And then usually I go and have I go through I do what do you call it? My self checkout, but I had a lot of vegetables, and I didn't want to mess with trying to find, I don't know how to enter those codes myself, which is why I got the cashier to do it for me. And it's so awkward waiting because you have to be 6 feet between everyone, which I was. And I don't see, I really hope that this gets resolved, because I don't know if any one of you guys do subscription boxes, but Upcrate will not be able to ship their April box to me because of shipping bans now. So some countries are not letting stuff get shipped. And it's it's a minor problem right now, but that's not the worst thing that's happening for this. But it's really sad that, you know, we that this is even happening. I'm going, I think, with a simple palette. So how, I mean, now also I got the stimulus check on the 15th, and that helps a lot, being able to get that, because I haven't been able to work. How is everyone else doing? Are you still working? Are you an essential worker? I'm happy to also announce that I have started my own coloring book. So I love to I love to color in all, like, color, can't get my words out. I love to color, you know, in other artists' coloring books, but I always wanted to create my own, and I started. So this is, I have 3 pages done. This is the first page. This is titled Unicorn Goddess. This is the second page, and this one is titled Unicorn Transformation. This is the third that's done. This is called Unicorn Halfling. But I am really excited about these 3 pages. They're on my Etsy account, Etsy shop. So you can go to my Etsy shop, and for only $1.20 each, they are available for instant download. And you can print them out on cardstock or watercolor paper. If you print it on watercolor paper, just cut your watercolor paper to 8.5 by 11 inches, like I did. And my printer's a cheap old printer, not old, but it's a cheap printer, and I just printed out on this. And I had minor smearing, maybe none at all, because the ink is not waterproof in most printers, I think, unless you want to go to your local printing shop, and they can do that for you. Totally your option. You can work with it without, if you want to use watercolors, print it on your own printer, or use cardstock, like these 3 are printed on cardstock, and use your markers and color pencils like I'm doing in this book here, and you can color any way you want. So there's that. So check it out, and for only $1.20. And tell me below which is your favorite. I've done 3: Unicorn Goddess, Halfling, and Unicorn Transformation. And I'm not really sure which is my favorite, but I'm leaning towards this one. It's harder, it's more complex, there's a background, a simple background, but that's my favorite. Please let me know down below which one do you like the best. And this is also available in my Etsy shop for purchase. She is done in watercolors and ink. So, and then cardstock is much better than, you know, the Create Space paper here. Even though I love the aspect of having the coloring book in a the coloring pages in a coloring book like this, I love having a coloring book, and I'm working towards making a whole coloring book with that. But for now, you know, PDFs are great because I could take it and print it on cardstock, and I won't have the feathering that I'm having right now. So that is a big plus for that. I need 26 illustrations to get my Amazon coloring book. started. So I did 3, so 23 more to go. And I think that, you know, getting your coloring book on Amazon isn't very complicated. And yes, it's done on CreateSpace paper, but you know, I can work with CreateSpace paper, and I think others don't mind it much either. Do you mind CreateSpace paper? I do have a few books that are on like quality cardstock that the artists have made themselves. I guess they, you know, created their own coloring books, published it themselves, and that's something that could happen later. For now, Amazon works good, I think, and that's what, you know, a lot of artists do. A lot of artists actually, they have their own books and the Amazon version, like Hannah Lynn. I want to try her coloring books, but I have so many already. Comment below and tell me, what is your favorite coloring book? And what medium is your favorite to use? What brand of coloring pencils? I have Prismacolor pencils, but I really want to upgrade to Caran d'Ache, Faber-Castell, but I don't think I can get Faber-Castell right now in this situation because it's not showing up on Amazon as, you know, being on. I'm not able to buy it now. Something like that. So normally I like use 2 different colors, but this time I'm just using solid coloring colors and just taking the same color after the marker dries and just giving it some shading. Oh, this is Carmen. I forgot to mention it earlier. Carmen 11. I don't have Copic markers, but if I did, I don't think I would want to use it on this paper. I have before, but I think that, you know, maybe this paper was a little rough on markers. If you use markers, what kind do you use? If you have Copic markers, do you use it in your coloring books? Do you use them in your coloring books? I have only like maybe 10. Oh, and I did purchase some expensive watercolors, Sminka, German brand. So even though I like to use watercolors in coloring books, even CreateSpace, even on CreateSpace paper, just because it works well as long as you are careful with layering the colors. But I don't know if I'm going to use my expensive Sminka in, you know, coloring books, but we'll see. But they were a penny, pretty penny. So I'm happy with her hair, but I'm still gonna like go over it with coloring pencils, and this video will be about an hour, and then I'll cut it off and do a part 2, however many parts it will take to finish this. This is Pastel Peach 26. I like these markers because they do have a brush nib, but they are pretty small, like really small and, you know, fine. So even if it feathers, it's not that bad. Do you like clowns? You know, I'm not really much into clowns. You know, yeah, the circus aspect, although I guess the only reason why I liked Circus is because they had animals, but I guess You know, the whole animal thing at circuses, that's pretty bad for the animals. That's why this book doesn't have any animals, because circus, for this circus, is just focused on the human aspect, because animals, oh, there's a controversy with animals in circuses. So this illustration really, after I went shopping at Walmart, this is how I felt. You know, kind of, yes, people were being careful, but just people weren't really nice. They're not nice, and I was already stressed as it is before this whole COVID stuff, going shopping. Now I'm even more stressed shopping, and I had to go everywhere. And I went to the toilet paper aisle too, and there was just one selection of toilet paper. Just like, I felt like this, like kind of, she needs a bigger hoop, because 6 feet, you know, people were keeping their distances, but I wouldn't say it was 6 feet. But I guess they were mostly just being mostly social distancing. But when I needed to go, you know, like, you know, pick out something or choose something, it was just very awkward. Like, I felt like my hands were tied behind my back. So this lady, you know, she's got her hands behind her. You know, I guess because she's hula hooping, but I kind of feel like she has no ability to do anything. And if you are working during this time, I salute you, because people, you know, that have to work, they are putting themselves out, you know, in the front lines essentially, and, you know, working when they have no choice but to work. They are essential workers. This color is Old Red 2. I wonder, after all this COVID, when will COVID even end? Because I saw a post on Facebook saying something about the Spanish, you know, influenza, and that I think took 2 years. Is it going to take 2 years for this to get better? I mean, will we be able to resume, you know, will we be able to go back to what things were? Like, take down the plastic walls. I did wear my mask, but not everyone did. Do you prefer, I don't know if I asked this already, but do you prefer shopping online? Do you do delivery service? I've been using Grubhub, to do delivery, like for food. Not always, but a few times I used it. I used it on Taqueria, Freebirds, and for other situations I just go to the drive-thru. So what do you do? Do you use the drive-thru? Do you go? But for Freebirds, you wouldn't be able to go in the store. If I didn't need milk, forgot eggs. I had eggs on my mind and forgot. I don't often eat eggs in the morning, but I did buy breakfast food. How is it in your country? Are you working? I mean, do you still go out and take a walk? Is it only a ban during the weekends? This is not an official ban, but I've been staying home. I guess it's just highly advised to stay at home. I really think it's the best to stay at home. I really like this effect where I'm just going simply with these colors and just using the same color but giving her shading a little bit. My new coloring book, I'm focusing on one theme. And the theme I'm going to go with, if you didn't notice, unicorns. I just love unicorns, and it's always been my thing, I guess. Do you have a favorite theme of coloring books that you go towards? I mean, maybe some people don't like figures, and maybe Johanna Basford, I think that's her name. I'm actually interested in getting her books because I'm not always like, I'm only going to be focusing on my own art. My own art is basically figurative, but with coloring books, I love to like try many things. Just not mythomorphia and imaginomorphia. I'm not into all that. There's just too much going on in those books, and they're not single-sided books, so I can't use markers. So if I can't use markers, I'm not gonna be coloring in these books because I don't want to spend all day just using coloring pencils. Maybe it's probably because I use Prismacolor only. If I get Faber-Castell Polychromos or Caran d'Ache Luminance or the Pablo version, maybe. But for now, no. I use markers first or watercolors as a base. What do you use? Do you use only coloring pencils or do you use a base? I'm sticking to an analogous color, I think, color scheme. This is Vivid Purple 85, and I think we're gonna make her leg here purple, and yeah, her neck thingy. Wait. No, I'm not. Okay. So I think we're gonna make her leg here, and then I guess this is like maybe a scarf thingy. Okay, I really like this color scheme. It's simple. It defines like her a little bit. What show are you watching right now? Right now I'm watching Haven. on Netflix. It is, I'm on, I think, I don't remember what season I was on. I think maybe, oh yeah, season 5. I always have my iPad out, and I do my line art in Procreate with my iPad because my hands shake a lot and I'm not that great with line art. At least I just feel like I have the Control Z undo button is very comfortable, and it's just I prefer to do my line art in Procreate. I sketch it out traditionally, and then I do the line art. And I think that this artist Karla Magana does her line art traditionally, and I really don't know which is better, but for right now, I like that method. So that's Vivid Purple, and she has like this, I don't even know what that is. Maybe that's like a light on her forehead. Okay, I got Powder Pink, which is 27. It's like a lighter, kind of like just a pink, a baby pink. And we're going to make this, the accents on her jumpsuit, this color, and her neck thingy. Guess this would be called her garter belt. I really love this artist. I have almost, not all her books, but close. And I've done episodes with her most recent coloring book. This is her second most recent coloring book. But I have, I think, three of her coloring books. One that's a miniature size and 2 this regular size. Okay, we need to, so these have been done. I just need to give it some solid shading. This paper does feather a lot. If it didn't, I could probably just, stick with just markers. But that's why a PDF file is better in printing it out yourself. Because cardstock is not expensive. Almost everyone, I think, has like cardstock. And though I always did marker art with cardstock anyways, now that I do my line art digitally, it's easier that way. And I don't have any coloring books that I've bought, on a digital, format. Just because I have already bought so many physical copies. But in the future, I might want to do that. But I still like having the coloring book in my hand. Because yes, I think I would make like a book of some, in some ways. But it's already made for me in this way. I wouldn't have been able to, do like that watercolor on, this kind of paper. Yes, I have done watercolor in this kind of paper, but it wouldn't have looked as good. Well, that was Old Red here on the jumpsuit too. And then this is the powder pink that I used for her little accents going on here. This Illo marker set only comes with, I think, how many? 36. Comes with 36. And that's not a lot, but you don't really need a lot. And I was so tempted to like buy Copic markers, but the way Amazon's going, yes, they occasionally, I guess half the time they'll say it's like a long delay, you know, in shipping and stuff, but sometimes it will be super long. And one, I think I ordered a watercolor set that was made by Golden. I think it's called Q something, and I haven't got that yet, and I got a problem with that. And some things like coloring books, they'll say it's a long time, then all of a sudden, oh, you're gonna get this week. And it's been good for some things, but not for others. So I think we're gonna do like her these little, what are these anyways, her shoulder things in terracotta. Oh no, we're gonna make those gold. We're gonna make these things and then her earrings gold. And then maybe just the hoop in terracotta. Or I'm leaning towards gold. No on the terracotta. Alright, so this is olive green. I ordered also a new mic, so because my current mic is acting up and if there's a lot of weird sounds, that's why in this video, but I don't know when I'm going to get it. May 1st. This is olive green and I'm going to use this with the hoops. But I got a new mic and I got a light, like one of those photography lights where it has like a, what are they called anyways? But it's supposed to, I guess, help with the shadows in this video, and maybe I have more options on recording because sometimes there's not enough light or there's too much light. I record with my phone and I just prefer that way. I have an iPhone XR. It does really good on the video, I think. Just my broken mic and the light upgrade is needed. So this is like olive green, but it really looks gold because it has a bit of, well, it has the green, but it's not very green at all. And that's what happens with this this set. The colors are very off. Like they say one thing, but it really doesn't look like that color. And she doesn't have another ring. Oh, I guess it's flying up behind her head. And then we'll have the gold on the outside here. I'm not a really good chatter, but what's chatter? I'm not a really good chatterer, but I'm trying to talk. Man, there's not really a lot for me to talk about, at least lately, because I'm stuck at home. Because what else, I mean, do I talk about? Just the COVID stuff, and I'm not watching the news. Not really for that, and I don't really watch news anyways. I see what the news on Facebook or something like that, because I don't watch cable really. So we've got these little spots here, and then her head thing. And what color should we use? I'm thinking like maybe she's got a lot of like pinks and reds, so we should try like, we have analogous colors, and let's try finding a complementary color. Okay, I like this yellow green. We're going to go with this yellow green, and it's 48. And right now it's just me and my dog. My mom was here, but she went to take care of her grandson. But I would still like to be able to go out, take my dog to the dog park, but that's also not something I can do right now. What is something that you miss doing? Like, I miss the movie theaters. I miss going to restaurants and sitting down at a restaurant. And I guess I haven't really gained any weight, but it feels like it. Have you colored more because of this situation? I think I got started in coloring because of this situation. I don't know if I would have found it otherwise. I do art channel, but I wouldn't maybe have time to do this as well as my other art channel if this COVID situation didn't happen. So I'm taking Vivid Purple 85 again over this. I put it down here and it's dry, so I'm going to shade it. I have a lot of Prismacolor pencils because I had a large set before I went to Korea, and then I didn't bring them to Korea, and then I bought a whole set when I was in Korea. So I have like double the amount of just Prismacolor pencils, but they're not really, in my opinion, the best to layer. I can only get so many layers, and then the wax bloom really bothers me. Maybe in this case, if there's a whole background, you wouldn't see the wax bloom, but For example, oh, it's not, I didn't do it in this book. In the other book, I did a page, and it was just like wax bloom because there's no background to the piece. But if you put a paper on top of the drawing as you work, and then it reduces it, but there's a lot, and then it gets really thick and cakey, even if you're careful. Okay, I'm really happy with this, and then she's not there's not a lot of feathering, but of course I'm not using two colors, wet and wet. I'm letting it dry and then taking another color over it. If you don't like clowns, still you should try this book. Because yes, there's a lot of clowns, jokers, and that sort of thing. But this one doesn't necessarily look like it's at a circus. Could just be any random place where someone's doing hula hoop. But she has a lot of different coloring books, so you could find one that you like. Especially her new one. It's called Spooklets. And I love her style. I have an original piece from her as well. And then she uses a lot of watercolors, and that's what I'll be doing myself, and it's what I do myself. I can't hula hoop. And no, not even when I was young. Maybe one time and then finished, it'll just go down. I'm gonna make her like head thingy like a yellow. Maybe like just a bright yellow. Yeah, we're gonna go with a bright yellow just to make it look like it's some kind of light. Then we're going to take this olive green. So the olive green was 41. I keep on forgetting. And lemon yellow for her head light is 35. So that will be and then we got stars in the background, but usually people always use like, you know, yellow or gold. Now I want to do something different. But we have like little like balls here. Circles anyways. And I'm going to take yellow to them. Make those yellow. So instead of yellow, we have a pink, red, and purple scheme. So I think I'm thinking some kind of orange. Yeah. Maybe, let's see. Yeah, I think orange will do. Yeah, orange. Maybe orange for these bigger stars here, or yeah, okay, for these two, orange. Okay, so I'm using dark blue light 75, because we have purple here on her, and I want to avoid using any green in the background besides a darker green for the wall. I'm already reaching almost an hour at this point, so this might end up being 3 parts. It depends, because the coloring pencil process takes a long time as well. Maybe even much longer than the marker process. This is orange again, 23. And then this is bronze green, 42, and I'll use that for this background part. This color would be a color I would consider military, army, some military color. I live in a military town, so my dad was military, but it's a good memory. I remember he had, you know, all the undershirts that were this color. Do you like coloring books with backgrounds or without backgrounds? Because I think that this is not my first, but no, maybe my first with a background. I usually tend to gravitate towards non-background coloring pages. Is it laziness? I guess I don't think so. Maybe it's just what I prefer. But it does look really beautiful when you're finished. Like, that looks awesome right there. The extra color. I had forgot her arm. It does show on this side a little bit. It doesn't, like, it's kind of weird. But I guess if you're hula hooping, your arms would be going everywhere. I'm going to finish off these last two spots with potato brown. Maybe potato brown for most, well, let me see. It's, well, potato brown for this anyways. Potato brown is 103. This bottom area looks like wood, so we're gonna go with just potato brown. Then the little things on the side, they're lights. That's just the same one that's on her forehead. Then we're going to use lemon yellow for the lights on the side. I think that's looking pretty good. So this is like wood, but this curtain is covering it, but it still should show this is just the yellow green 48. I'm just putting it in these, I guess these are like the wood spots. And then 75 for this star here. It's the dark blue light, but it looks lavender. And we are almost at an hour and a half and almost done with this marker process. So it's completely colored in, but I just need to just give it some shading and dimension. Just taking this bronze green 42 and just giving it some shadows. There's the wood lines here. Just follow some of them. And then it'll look like it's shaded. Just a little bit. I'm going to do a lot more work with the color pencils, so we don't need to worry too much. This is when I guess a nib bullet tip would be okay, but I love brush markers because it makes it very easy to do this kind of stuff. And I'm going to just give a little shadow too around the figure. our potato brown for our stage. We need to just do the same thing. I guess I'm doing okay on time. An hour for the marker process is not a bad hour and a half. I think that's a normal, typical time to finish these markers. Our yellow again, lemon yellow. Not a lot because light colors don't look like you did much to it at all for the shading part. That's where we're going to. We're going to use coloring pencils to define these things especially. And last but not least, our Sky Blue 76. We are on our last part of this journey. Just take it in. Basically, I'm just taking it and outlining the borders, the lines. And outlining like giving her shading around the figure. And this is yellow green 48 because I'm doing this because the underneath iridescent curtains or see-through curtains, underneath that there's the bronze green wall. I'm finished with the marker process and she's looking wonderful. I'm happy with this and I'm going to go into the coloring pencil process in the next part. So see you next time for the next video, and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And goodbye, dreamers.